Hello, everyone. It's your favorite FGC VTuber. Apologies if the song's a little bit loud, but today we're going to be talking about this Katsuhiro Harada post that I've just seen recently. Um, so for those who don't know, Soul Calibur, this is about Soul Calibur, specifically Katsuhiro Harada is the director, or former director of Tekken, actually. So you guys can see the chibi talk because I have it on a different setup. But anyways, and he actually isn't the main director. He's kind of like higher up. He is above the director. But this we'll get into this more. But it's him and his thoughts because people were saying, "Oh, well, I Soul Calibur failed this, and that." But yeah, regardless, Tekken Chief Pixel Harada, remarkably candidate discussed about Soul Calibur experience. I actually did read this before, so I won't get to it. I know it's gonna be hard to read there. I'll post the link below if I can. It's from IGN actually. Oddly, pretty weird, but it had it from a Twitter feed. Yeah, he insisted that because the main thing is just Soul Calibur responded to a tweet from user who claimed that if Soul Calibur 2 had a director like Harada himself, then sales of the game and the series would have grown over time. Actually, that's pretty true. The user even pointed out mechanics in older Soul Calibur that were ditched for more recent entries as soon as the reason for the decline. Like, dude, actually, that's no. Mechanic stuff, maybe for the FGCA and competitive, sure, but as a whole, not really. And I love that Harada directly states this, like, okay, my simple removal of a game. He pointed out that the departure of key staff on the project amid structural problems in Bandai Namco even affected him at one point. So yeah, basically what he's getting into, I'm not gonna get on the whole thing, is that he talked about how Soul Calibur actually did better and was seen as a much potential future, as a big franchise for the future because it did a lot better, I think, in the console sales. Surprisingly, not I guess not Tekken so much, but definitely even in arcades too. And then of course look at the Dreamcast, and especially Soul Calibur 2 was peak, right? But then Tekken 3, whatever. But he said that it seemed like they were doing good, but and by the way, there's also a video that explains that goes into that just popped off recently about how Bandai Namco is a good company, and he kind of just puts Bandai Namco like he puts them on full blast. How after a certain point they started switching stuff, and they did it to him too. That's why he actually stopped. After Tekken 4, I believe, or 5, it's when he stopped, not because of his choice, but because of how Bandai Namco was like, oh, we can do stuff, and then of course moving people around, and it's fucking crazy, right? Yeah, the organizational structure is no longer in game development. Yeah, and so they got rid of people. But he talked about how the reason why Tekken did it, what he did, is that he would go out of his way to kind of do stuff. And we see it now, like technically when he's not supposed to do stuff, go to tournaments and talk. They were seen as the rebel of Bandai Namco, and that's really what helped keep Tekken afloat in a sense. And the fact that he was far more involved because technically he's not supposed to be as fair he was, but everybody else kind of followed the lane, especially for Japan. That's a really hard thing. So, Loki, yeah, we do have a lot to thank for Harada for the situation in Tekken as it is. And the reason that it is bad is not because of Harada, if that makes sense. But when it came to actual like game, like and the main thing too, he talked about how basically the new people who were in charge didn't really know what to do or where to go. Whereas with Tekken, I remember in 7, he was talking about how fast they were like, getting the hang of Unreal Engine. So it just seems that they got really unlucky with Soul Calibur with the team that they had, the new developers. And I mean, I know they got help from the Tekken 7 team because I guess it seems that just those people, I don't know who they got or whatever, but Tekken team got lucky with that Harada was such a Chad and was willing to go out of his way and was willing to be like, fuck it, if I get fired, whatever, right? And you see these are the last ones, and that they had really good talented youth, because as far as I can tell, they didn't have shit for Soul. Like Soul Calibur 4 was the last big one, and I think that's where we had us. You could tell the shift and change and stuff, especially after that. And then of course they got fucking sort of the tsunami. They just had too much bad luck, and I think that's absolutely true. Because for sure, Soul Calibur, in my opinion, could have it was like one of the big 4 or 5, honestly. And then it fucked off next to fucking Virtual Fighter. And now Virtual Fighter's making the comeback, which is weird. See, I think the only difference between Tekken Project and Project Soul is the fact the number of members had the drive to keep the title alive. Yeah, I mean, yeah, when you change and whatever, and when your lead director's kind of fucked, yeah, where can you really, And he also talked about how there was like a friendly rivalry between them, right? And that kind of was fucking off. And without that, it's like, well, how can you really be pushed? I mean, think about it. Soul Calibur, the latest one, the Tekken team was like, yo, we gotta help you out, bro. Try to give this final hurrah, and then nah, and it's all fucked. But yep, see, yeah. But from my point of view, I don't think Fire Project Soul has been extinguished. He said there are still a few people in the economy who have the will to do it, including himself, clearly. So we're going for is truly did hard offered a glimmer of hope. I mean, let's be honest. You'd have to probably make Katsuhiro Harada like a director or lead, like above the director. That's the only thing I can see it working because he has what it takes and he knows what the situation is. But I love how he got super defensive. I respect him for how he respects his under peers, which is super rare in Japan, really, or any kind of business scenario. But yeah, feel free to give this a whole read. I just kind of summed it up a bit, and I truly get the sentiment as someone who's worked in some business scenarios and has seen quite a bit, and especially with the dev industry and whatnot. Like, yeah, no, fucking yeah, no, that's the situation currently, you know. But yeah, no, that's it. That's all I wanted to cover. Just something super interesting. Feel free to look at our most recent podcast, or Vibecast as I call them. And the next episode coming up is going to be a big doozy special edition. But yeah, this is super interesting. And yeah, no, it just goes to show, like, it's kind of with anything, things change when you don't have the same people in charge. I mean, Bungie basically isn't the same people anymore. And Respawn to a degree, kind of, but they're still largely the same. I think they just don't have that passion to make booty water ass Apex. Like, they don't give a fuck. I've talked about this before in the Vibecast, which you should check out to see my. That's the case. But yeah, real interesting to see. I mean, me personally, I just think because it's under Bandai, I think Soul Calibur maybe can make the comeback, but it'll never be what it used to be, nor reach the heights it used to. I mean, Tekken right now is pretty ass. I don't know who gives a shit. Street Fighter, Capcom, like all these companies are. It can maybe just come to the realization, dude, like dude, all these AAA companies are ass. We gotta wait for my game to come out. You know, I will replace the big three because clearly no one knows what they're doing. But yeah, with that being said, thank you very much.